It's the question that's bothered everyone who's seen James Cameron's Titanic, which is a massive movie, which is, Rose, you could have fit Jack on that piece of wood too,
That
right?
door, yeah.
So James Cameron himself, he's been presented with information from Mythbusters that yes, indeed, that door panel of wood could have fit 2 people. Jack didn't need to die, and he doesn't necessarily agree with it. Let's take a look at what Mythbusters showed him.
Based on our experiments, we have to find that they both could have survived on that board.
Really?
There were a couple of things, and the first was that we were able to retie the life preserver that Rose was wearing underneath the board, and that gave it more buoyancy.
And we were able to prop up our bodies on the board so that most of our body mass was actually outside of the water. Based on that, we got to say, this is plausible. Rose and Jack could have survived.
I think you guys are missing the point here.
He was so pissed off.
He's
Really?
supposed to die. Yeah.
Really? Jamie and Adam, a love story for all time. Or not, actually, if you read about how they like each other in real life. So they showed that, yes, it is possible for 2 people to stay afloat on that size piece of wood. And maybe someone, didn't need to drown cold and fall to the bottom of the ocean. And
But then Celine Dion's song wouldn't have had as much meaning, Kim.
She could have changed the lyrics.
No, my heart will never. My
heart will go on with my husband, who is still alive with me. I'm so lucky. This is the best life possible.
Thank you, Mythbusters.
So as you can see, James Cameron did not like that.
Yeah.
And he has had his own thoughts on the situation presented to him after Jamie and Adam showed him the evidence. And he said, "You're Jack, you're in the water, it's 28 degrees, your brain is starting to get hypothermia. Mythbusters asks you to now go take off your life vest, take hers off, swim underneath this thing, attach it in some way that it won't just wash out 2 minutes later, which means you're underwater, tying the thing in 28-degree water, and that's going to take you 5 to 10 minutes, so by the time you come back, you're already dead." So that quote came from very recent, like a week ago. The Mythbusters episode came from years ago. As you may remember, that is no longer running in its current form. So he's addressing this old topic that was addressed years ago on Mythbusters in the present time. He later added, "They're fun guys and I love doing that show with them, but they're full of shit." It was just like, James. So he doesn't like being told what he did was wrong. However, you may recall in 2012 that Neil deGrasse Tyson took issue with how the stars looked in the sky during Titanic and said that they would not actually be there in that way. So in 2012, James Cameron decided to insert the star field, as Neil deGrasse Tyson said would be accurate, into that. I'm just saying he did change his movie for the sake of science in the past.
I'm just saying the movie was made to talk about a tragedy, but focused around the lives of a romantic Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio.
Fictional people.
Like, we're nitpicking at minor details when this. I'm so surprised no one has actually made the movie. I know there was the original Titanic movie, but I'm talking about remake it in a way that we've now got all this new, found amazing ways. No, but not just Titanic
Still
2, but
down
make
there.
it in a way that like looks at the actual logistics that went wrong. Like, they didn't really show the logistics of what went wrong. That's an amazing movie
that's
that I would
another
like to
movie.
see. That's not a movie because Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio don't make out.
No, that's another movie. That's
That's what I'm saying. But I would like them to focus like that. The movie wasn't intended to be accurate. Hence why, like, I'm the amount of people that nitpicked Braveheart.
Well, he made the stars accurate
Yeah, well, I guess he wanted to. I think he probably
Make
did
the
that as like a
wood
tongue-in-cheek
smaller.
thing.
somehow.
Like, there was this, I guess it was during that era when people just thought you had to romanticize everything. Well, you do have to romanticize a lot of things, but you have to romanticize everything to make it relatable. Like, in Braveheart, I remember, like, they just added William Wallace as the love sequence just for the sake of it, and all of a sudden, he's having romantic relationships with the Princess of France and all. I'm like, just show him beating up the English. That's all I care about. But that's my pessimistic point of view.
Do you have to put this into every show?
But I think that James Cameron does have a valid point here. He's like, all these shows that break down the scenarios and how it would break down, they're breaking it down without circumstance. Like, they're not taking into account shock, fear, DiCaprio's willingness to be a martyr?
Well, I mean, there's always been this balance when we're looking at fiction or sci-fi in particular, which is I've talked to many people who have been science experts on these movies, and they've said, I would tell them how this would actually work, how the physics of this would actually work, but then ultimately they'd say, okay, we're doing it this way because it looks cooler, or it serves the story better. So it's not really something that is usually considered that deeply. I mean, I've done lots of movie news and junkets where we watch something that has a lot of scientific accuracies, but it's never just right, you know?
Yeah.
I've never seen a perfect movie in terms of scientific accuracy.
They're going to glorify it in a way that makes it, obviously, because not everyone who's going to go and see it is going to be picking apart each piece. So I feel like this was a meme that became one of the best memes that you'll see out there. Like, the fact is, come on, Rose, you could move over a little bit. And people would use it as a means to, like, this is how relationships really work. Like, when they want all of the bed, but there's really so much room there. That was funny. Like, I thought that was pretty funny. But again, like, to
get
try
a bigger bed.
Yeah, to try and get this the scientific backing. Like, James Cameron makes somewhat of a decent point where he's like, you just did that test. Like, they had bodysuits on. They just did it what looked like off the coast of Australia in a nice warm, lukewarm water. Try and do it did they do it in the temperature that was actually there?
I think he just looked angry because he was proven to be wrong on one count. And he's a perfectionist.
Never wrong.
And he likes being told he's right.
Yeah.
So that's just my take on it, though. I mean, yeah, maybe he could have done that. Maybe the circumstances of the ice would have made it more difficult. Maybe his point about it's just a story, he has to die in the story.
And even if he does get up in there, his meat and two veg is done for good.
What?
His meat and two veg is underneath the water. Like, it's already
his
done.
meat and two veg.
Yeah, his carrot and his two
This
Brussels
is a term
sprouts.
I never knew before as an
You've
American.
never heard of meat and two veg?
No,
That's
I don't
what
call vegetables veg or Brussels sprouts veg.
That's what Austin Powers' dad calls it. And
Okay.
It's like my meat and two veg, my, what's my next part? The colonel and the two generals. Well, anyway, all of that is frozen. So does he really want to find his way back onto the door?
Just hold your breath and flip over the other way, and we'll work it out.
Well, even itself
I think life is still worth living. I've lived my whole life without a meat and two veg.
Yeah.
This has gone way off track. Audience, is there a way that Jack and Rose could have actually survived that? Or B, does it even matter according to James Cameron? Please let us know what your thoughts are below in the comments and try to work in the phrase meat and two veg below.